Hello everyone. Decided to do this video, and today we're going to be getting political. I very much hate getting political. I'm just kidding. I'm not one of those people. But this is a bit of a subject that I've had. I have a very strong opinion about, and it is about, as the title suggests, the draft. So, if for some reason you don't know what the draft is, basically what it is, it's a little bit hard to explain, but very so often there are times where America gets involved in a war, and the draft is something that gets sent out to everyone who is qualified for it, and basically you have the option to choose between yes and no. Now the problem with the draft is a very easy one to explain. Actually, the one of the main problems with the draft is very simple. You're forced to go out and fight in a war. You're forced to sign the yes option. If you're curious how you're eligible to be drafted, or how you can be eligible for it, it's very simple. There's a lot of different ways to doing it, but one of the common ways is getting a driver's license. Yeah, for some reason they put you through this thing where you you'll if a war ends up happening, they draft you. And yeah, there's a very big problem with that mentality, and with forcing people to go out and fight a war. It's because we live in a free country, and a lot of the people who are in favor of the draft say that this is a free country and we have the freedom to do whatever we want and all that stuff. But I don't really see what's quite so in favor of freedom to force people to go out and fight in a war, potentially get themselves killed or kill other people. And you may be asking, well, why don't you just sign no? Well, it's a very simple reason. If you sign no on the draft, you will either have to pay a very hefty fine, or in worst case scenario, you are imprisoned for saying no and not wanting to go out and fight in a war if you're against bloodshed and all that stuff. Now, there are loopholes that you can do it so you don't have to get drafted, but the fact that you even have to do that it speaks volumes about our state in America. And there are certain groups that are protected from having to go out and fight in a war, but why this is only for protected groups, and well, by protected groups I don't mean marginalized, because of course a lot of people are forced to go be drafted, but this should be for everyone. And if we live in a free country like we say we do, someone not wanting to go out and fight in a war, not being forced to go do that, that shouldn't concern you at all. Because, again, it's a free country. You shouldn't be forced to go out and fight in a war. And, again, there's a lot of problems with this, too, and just with warfare in general. And here's my take on war. It's not very cool. I do not like war in the slightest. The only time I think it is justified, in a sense, is if someone else is attacking us, or maybe someone else, and we have to defend it. If it's in defense, then I understand warfare. Like, for example, what Russia was doing to Ukraine. But in a lot of cases, it's the United States that starts the fucking wars, and we're the perpetrators a lot of the time. Like Viet Cong, for example. Fuck, that's why Star Wars was made. It was an allegory for Viet Cong, and America was basically the Empire. And just again, the main point I gotta drive home here is just, you should not be forced. No one should be forced to fight in a war if they don't want to. And again, and like I said, if you don't want to go fight in a war, you will be imprisoned, which is just, yeah, it really shows how freedom loving the higher ups in America are. And what the arguments, I haven't really, I don't know why would anyone would be in favor of the draft. And there's been some speculation the last year or so about adding women to the draft, which no, they shouldn't be. Not because again, it's the main reason that no one should be signed up for the draft. Like, no one should be forced to go out and fight in the military. And the reason why they do this and why they make you fight in war is because it's I think it's, okay, I apologize. It's just, again, this is a really, this subject does inherently make me not very happy. Although, again, the reason why this is the case is because conservatives want you to die. These people want you to die. And the thing is, they say they're all pro-life, but no, they're not pro-life. Just, yeah, they want you to be born. They always act like, oh, abortion, fetus is a human life, but once you're born, they don't give a single shit about you until you reach military age. So that way they can go out and force you to fight in a war, either for either their amusement or for money. Because you see, the thing with war is the people who go out and fight in it, they really receive nothing from going out and fighting for it. It's the people in Washington that get money from these wars and making other people go out and do this, which, again, just, if conservatives really were for freedom and all that, they would be against people being forced to go fight in the war. And the thing with war is, like, if they're qualified, if men or women or gender non-conforming folk do want to go fight, do want to enlist in the military, if they're qualified, then sure, let them go. Like, yeah, I don't approve of warfare in most cases, but again, if it's in the sense of defending the country, then sure, go and do it. But you shouldn't be forced to do it. Like, this is, again, what the draft is about. And again, just, if we lived in a free country like we say we were, if you want to make America more freedom-loving and give us more freedom, abolish the draft. And the thing is, I don't even think the draft is not an America-only issue. There are loads of other countries out there that force the citizens to go out and fight in wars. And that's bad. We should abolish the draft and forcing people to go out and fight in wars in all countries. Because, again, it's not only anti-freedom, but, again, it's just wrong to force people to go out and commit fucking bloodshed, go and kill in strangers, or get themselves killed. And just, yeah, and then you have that one group that's like, hey, well, it's not as bad as it is in other countries. Like, North Korea, you could get killed if you don't want to go serve in the military, which, yes, that is bad, but just because we may have it better off than in other countries doesn't mean that our country doesn't still have problems. And again, I just really cannot stand that pivot. And again, what's the point of being in favor of forcing people to go fight in a war other than you just like watching people die? That's the main question. So again, just main point of this video, just abolish the draft. You shouldn't be forced to go out and kill people is the main point of this. So yeah, that's all I really have to say for this video. See you all later.